Welcome back to the white paper. I originally wanted this presentation to go a lot longer, but I realized it was too overwhelming. So I'm going to be cutting something short. I've left the slides in so you can see them for yourself. But yeah, without further ado. So these slides are from the Moderna website. They were sent to me by this Reddit user. And I'd kind of briefly touched on some of these before. So on the left, we have this chart that breaks down how patients' tumors progressed after they started on the personalized cancer vaccine, along with Keytruda. And then to the right, we have what's called a swimmer plot. And as you can kind of see why it's called that. And this shows where patients progressed, where they had recurrence, and where they had improvement in their disease. And so I took both of those together. I created a Kaplan-Meier curve. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I have it again with a little bit of more information. I think that I disagreed with how they classified some of the patient's progress. But according to the Moderna slides and the criteria that they used, their overall response rate was 50%. So you have some people, you start them on treatment and they are cured, and those go into complete response. And then you have some patients that go in and they have some improvement in their disease, but they still have the cancer. Those are partial response. And then some of the patients have stable disease. And if you go back 2 slides, you'll see that's where those people kind of stayed towards the middle zone. And I kind of disagreed with some of those, but for now, let's just say that's what we're going to go with. So the overall response rate was 50%, and the disease control rate was 90%, with a median progression-free survival of 9.8 months. And we kind of went through some of this, and then we tried to apply it to the melanoma study, but it got me thinking, well, if this is head and neck squamous cell carcinoma, we already have direct data for that with Keytruda. So why don't we just go ahead and compare this very small sample set, which is 10 patients, with the actual established data. So I went online, I pulled up Merck's website, and I looked through all their statistics. It's kind of hard to try to keep all this in perspective, but if you look at this middle picture, you'll see in the green the overall response rate for Keytruda by itself to this type of cancer is 19%, compared to Moderna's being 50%, and the gold standard at that time had a response rate of 35%, and that's called extreme therapy, and that's a combination of cetuximab and platinum-containing chemotherapeutic and 5-fluorouracil. Then you go to the next picture, and this is where they put Keytruda with the components of extreme, and they sought to see the difference. And you'll see that the overall response rate is pretty similar between the two, 36% and 36%, and that the complete response rate in the Keytruda arm was actually a little bit higher. And like I said, this is a lot of data. It's hard to kind of compare them all without them being side by side. So that's what I did. And I'll show you that in a second here. So our 10 participants in the Moderna trial, it's kind of all over the place. You've got some patients that they said had stable disease and then progressed. You had one patient who progressed before he even started the trial, and he never actually received any of the vaccine. So I sought to kind of actually put them all in a nice organized fashion here. So now you can see, so the person in this white is that patient that was withdrawn before they ever got the vaccination. And I said, hey, well, if they never got the combined treatment, I don't think that this person should actually qualify to be included in the statistics. So really this is of 9 participants, not 10. Then I went through and I made certain patients that I said, okay, these for sure are progressed disease, and they're in red. And then I had some that I felt a little different about. And these are in yellow, right? Because this person, number 67, actually had complete resolution of the primary cancer. So they took these biopsies from their necks. But he had a metastasis in his lung that was continuing to worsen. And that's why he ended up being pulled out of the trial. But a metastatic tumor can have very different biology than the primary tumor. And this is for a variety of reasons. And I'm willing to speculate that that's why in Moderna's melanoma trial that they specifically wanted patients who had stage 3 disease with high risk of recurrence. Because now you're aiming just at that primary tumor. You don't have to worry about a metastatic tumor that you're currently not treating for. But another thing that they could consider, and this is something that I've considered in the past, is that you could go into that metastatic lesion, take a piece of it, and then make a whole new shot for that tumor as well. So let's go on to the next slide here. And this is all that other data that we've looked at kind of put into one chart. And so it's easy to read. And so if you look at the green box here, this is the objective response rate, complete response rate, and partial response rate compared to the other arms of this study. So as you can see that the best that Keytruda and platinum-containing chemotherapeutics versus what was already considered the gold standard is about 36% response rate. And then with Moderna's, we have 50%. And then I went ahead and took out that one person that never got the drug. So really it's 55%. And then if you add my own criteria where I said, well, these people actually did respond, then you're actually looking at something closer to 77, probably 80%. And so I went ahead and remapped out a Kaplan-Meier curve for that to show where my criteria in blue would compare to what they were describing. And you can even look at the very beginning at week 0, their curve starts at 90%, which is not how the graph is supposed to be done. Although you could also state on the back end around week 20 to 25, there's a bump up, which does not happen in a traditional Kaplan-Meier curve because they had somebody who had progressed disease that started to see improvement in their disease. This is a graph representation, and this is the money shot right here. This is the whole reason for the video here. So in this mapped out picture, you can visually see how good the personalized cancer vaccine with Keytruda is compared to the competition. And, you know, it's almost unreal. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this melanoma data coming out, I guess, within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Here's just a little picture of me patting myself on the back here for how I created my Kaplan-Meier curve. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. See you next time.